Julius Caesar, that's his name. Even though Julius Caesar was born and raised in relatively upper-class family in ancient Rome, because his family wasn't one of the great aristocratic families with political power, he had to prove himself in the army as a young man. He fought bravely as an exceptional warrior. Caesar was particularly eager to seize power in Rome, using the conquest of Gaul as his political stepping stone, and showed great mercenary skills as a commander. The Battle of Alesia is a classic example of Caesar's mercenary skills. After being appointed governor of Gaul, Caesar conquered much of the region, which was divided into smaller tribes, by defeating them individually. Sensing the danger, the Celts united under the leadership of the young Gaulish leader Vercingetorix and began to fight against the Romans, defeating them in several battles. As the Roman army expanded its conquests, it began to source food and other supplies from the conquered regions of Gaul. In 52 BC, Vercingetorix burned villages in the Roman army's path to cut off their supplies, and camped in the strategic fortress of Alesia with food, supplies, and 60,000 soldiers. The fortified city of Alesia was naturally well positioned for defense, and Vercingetorix hoped to wage a ground war against the Romans. Caesar built a two-layer siege around Alesia, an inner siege to trap Vercingetorix's army in Alesia, and an outer siege to block any attempted rescue by the Gaulish allies. Caesar installed a variety of defenses along the siege lines, including trenches, stakes, and traps. The two-layer siege served as effective deterrents to any attempted breakthrough by Vercingetorix. In anticipation of a prolonged siege, Caesar maintained the Roman army's supply lines, which kept them well supplied and enabled them to withstand a prolonged siege. When the Romans encircled Alesia with an 18-kilometer perimeter, Vercingetorix and his army were isolated inside Alesia. Over time, as food and supplies became scarce, internal morale deteriorated, and Vercingetorix was forced to wait for relief to arrive. The Gallic alliance, over 200,000, launched a massive attack on Alesia in an attempt to save Vercingetorix. They attempted to break through the outer siege line. Meanwhile, Vercingetorix was also trying desperately to breach the first line of defense from the inside out as the Salvation Army attacked. It was nearly impossible to organize two sieges, one inside and one outside, and to stop 5 times as many enemies at once. Whenever the Roman army was about to collapse, a detachment led by Caesar would arrive to save them. Meanwhile, in preparation for a large Gallic attack, Caesar secretly sent his cavalry out of the outer enclosure to surprise the enemy's rear. The surprised Gauls lose the will to fight and are forced to retreat. Unable to wage war any longer due to lack of food and wounds from prolonged isolation, Vercingetorix was forced to surrender. This victory brought all of Gaul under Roman control, and Caesar was a great general and hero of Rome, and became a great favorite in the hearts of the Roman citizens.